Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room, smiled like everything's fine, but inside, you were falling apart? Or maybe you looked at yourself in the mirror and heard a voice saying, "You're not good enough. You'll never change. You always screw things up." That voice, that's not the world talking. That's you, war, with yourself. Most people live their entire lives like that. On the outside, they play their roles: the parent, the student, the achiever. But inside, there's a war raging. A battle between who they are and who they wish they could become. The war in your mind is the most brutal one you'll ever fight, because it's constant, it's silent, and it's personal. But here's the good news. You don't have to lose. What if I told you this war can be won strategically, intentionally, and permanently? Not by pretending, not by running, but by learning how the battlefield works, and then rising above it. So if you're tired of second-guessing yourself, tired of the fear, the shame, the mental loops you can't seem to break, this is your moment. Let's begin. Because before we can win the war, we have to understand what kind of war we're really in. The mind is a strange place. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It remembers your failures louder than your victories. It questions your worth more than it affirms your potential. But why? Why does our own brain seem wired to work against us? Here's the truth. Your brain wasn't designed to make you happy. It was designed to keep you alive. That's right, your brain's number one job is not success, it's survival. That means it's constantly scanning for danger, criticism, rejection. It's trying to keep you in the comfort zone, even if that comfort is misery. Because misery is familiar. And to your brain, familiar equals safe. But safety doesn't mean growth. And survival doesn't mean freedom. So what does this look like in real life? You want to speak up, but your brain says, don't. You'll embarrass yourself. You want to try something new, but your brain says, remember when you failed? You want to love again, but your brain says, what if you get hurt again? Sound familiar? That's the battlefield. And the bullets are thoughts. Now that we know where the war is being fought, it's time to expose the weapons the enemy is using. Not every weapon makes noise. Some are silent, some are invisible. And the most dangerous ones live inside your mind. They're called limiting beliefs. What are they? They're lies that sound like truth. They're stories you've told yourself so many times. You forgot they were fiction. I'm just not smart enough. People like me never get ahead. I'll always be anxious. It's too late for me. These aren't facts. They're mental handcuffs. They don't protect you. They trap you. And here's the twist. Most of these beliefs didn't start with you. They were planted by a comment, a failure, a parent's words, a teacher's criticism, a childhood wound, and over time, you started watering them until they grew into the shape of your identity. But here's the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are who you choose to become when you challenge the lies you've believed for too long. Now that we've identified the enemy's weapons, the next step is critical learning how to take back control. You can't fix what you don't face, and you can't win what you won't confront. That's why this next step matters. We've identified the battlefield. We've exposed the enemy's weapons-limiting beliefs. Now, it's time to take back control. But how? It doesn't happen with willpower. It doesn't happen overnight. And it definitely doesn't happen by ignoring the problem. Real change begins with one small, powerful decision: to stop letting every thought go unchecked. You see, most people think every thought they have is true. But not every thought deserves your attention. Not every thought is based in reality. Some are rooted in fear. Some are echoes of your past. Some are just nonsense. So here's what you do. Number 1, catch the thought. Before it takes over, pause. Write it down. Name it. Be honest. I feel like I'll fail again. No one really cares about me. I'm too broken to be loved. Number 2, challenge the thought. Ask, is this true? Can I prove it? Would I say this to someone I love? Because if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, why say it to yourself? Number 3, change the thought. This is where power is reclaimed. Rewrite the lie. Speak the truth. Say it until you believe it. I've failed before, but I've also grown. There are people who care about me. I'm learning to see them. I am worthy of love, even while healing. It's not about pretending. It's about retraining your mind to fight fair, one thought at a time. Once you start winning the little battles in your mind, something bigger starts to shift: your identity. Every war changes the warrior, but the battles in your mind, they don't just change you, they reveal you. You thought you were weak, but fighting back thought by thought showed you your strength. You thought you were broken, but learning to challenge the lies taught you resilience. You thought your past defined you, but now you see it only prepared you. This is more than self-help. This is identity transformation. Because your thoughts shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your behavior. And your behavior shapes your destiny. So if you want to change your life, you have to change the story you tell yourself about who you are. Are you someone who always quits? Or are you someone who overcomes setbacks with faith and grit? Are you someone who's never been good enough? Or are you someone who's finally learning your worth? This is the real war. Not between good and bad. Not between success and failure. But between the old version of you and the one you're becoming. And the battlefield? It's in the words you whisper to yourself, the habits you repeat when no one's watching, the choices you make in silence. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to the truest version of who you've always been. But transformation doesn't happen in a vacuum. To win the war in your mind, you can't fight alone. You're fighting a war in your mind, but you're not fighting in a vacuum. Every day, something or someone is shaping your thoughts. The people you listen to, the places you spend your time in, the words spoken over you. It's subtle, but powerful. And if you don't choose your environment will choose your mindset for you. Let me be clear. You can't plant a seed of peace in a garden of chaos and expect it to grow. You can't water your faith in a desert of negativity and expect it to survive. Look at your surroundings. Are they feeding your fear or building your courage? Are they pulling you back to who you were or lifting you into who you're becoming? You don't just need motivation. You need alignment. Surround yourself with people who speak life, not drama. Challenge you to grow, not settle. Remind you of truth when you forget it. Because proximity shapes possibility. If you walk with wise people, you'll get wiser. If you hang with cynics, you'll grow more doubtful. If you live around toxic energy, your mental battles will multiply. You need people who don't just believe in you. You need people who believe with you. People who speak hope into your darkest moments. People who don't let you sit in shame or self-pity. People who remind you that you're not your past, you're a work in progress. Because sometimes, the war in your mind isn't lost from the inside. It's lost when you let the wrong voices get too close. So today, choose better voices. Choose better spaces. Choose to protect the peace you've worked so hard to build. But even with the right people and places, one last element keeps the war going or brings peace: what you say to yourself. No one talks to you more than you talk to yourself. And no one can be more crueler, more kind. Every day, your brain repeats thousands of phrases. Some are helpful, most are harmful, and nearly all go unnoticed. They sound like, "I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. I'll never change. Why even try?" Harmless? Number. These aren't just words. They're weapons, and you've been using them against yourself. Your brain believes what it hears most. And the more it hears a lie, the more that lie becomes your reality. This is why self-talk matters. Because what you repeat, you start to believe. What you believe, you start to act out. And what you act out becomes who you are. But here's the good news. You can rewrite the script. You don't have to be a slave to your default thoughts. You can speak truth. You can speak hope. You can speak identity. It starts with one decision. I won't let my inner voice be my inner enemy. So instead of, "I always fail," say, "I'm learning and growing." Instead of, "I'm broken," say, "I'm healing." Instead of, "No one sees me," say, "I'm seen by the one who matters." This is not about blind positivity. It's about deliberate rewiring, speaking with purpose, choosing truth over toxic comfort. Because if you're going to fight a war in your mind, your words are your most powerful weapon. So speak like a warrior. Speak like a healer. Speak like someone who finally knows, "I'm not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And once you learn to speak truth to yourself, there's one more step that changes everything: the power of focus. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly you see it everywhere? It's not that everyone else just bought the same car. It's your brain. It's learned to pay attention. It's trained to find what you're focused on. Your focus creates your filter, and your filter shapes your thoughts. And your thoughts determine your direction. You don't see the world as it is. You see the world as you are, as your mind is. If you're always focused on pain, you'll see more reasons to hurt. If you always expect betrayal, you'll start seeing enemies in every friend. If you always expect failure, you'll ignore every win. But if you focus on purpose, you'll see opportunity. If you focus on healing, you'll notice progress. If you focus on growth, you'll find the fuel to keep moving. Your focus is a choice, and your choice becomes your lens. A distorted lens sees distorted reality. So if you don't like what you're experiencing, maybe it's time to check what you're focusing on. Here's the question that changes everything. What are you fixing your eyes on every day? Because what captures your attention will ultimately capture your life. But what if your focus is clear, your self-talk is healthy, and your identity is shifting yet the battle still rages? There's a voice that whispers in your mind when you're struggling. Don't tell anyone. No one would understand. You'll look weak. It convinces you to hide, to wear a mask, to fight alone. That voice is a liar, and isolation is its favorite weapon. See, if your enemy can't destroy you outright, it will try to isolate you, because alone, you're vulnerable. Alone, your thoughts echo louder. Alone, your doubts grow stronger. And alone, even truth can feel like fiction. But here's the truth. You were never meant to win this war by yourself. Even the strongest soldiers need backup. Even the bravest warriors bleed. Even heroes need healing. And they don't find it in silence. Real strength isn't hiding the war inside you. It's letting someone into the battlefield. You don't need 1,000 friends. You just need one safe place. One person who sees you without filters, who doesn't flinch at your broken pieces, who reminds you you're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're not done yet. And sometimes, being that friend for someone else is the very thing that helps you heal too. Because the opposite of isolation isn't just presence, it's connection. And when you find real connection, your mind starts to heal in ways your willpower never could. So the next time you hear that voice whisper, keep it to yourself. Answer back with strength. I choose community. I choose honesty. I choose not to fight this alone. Now that you're not alone, there's something powerful you can finally begin to build. A new mental environment. Now that you're no longer fighting alone, it's time to take control of your mental environment, the space where your thoughts live and grow. Think of your mind like a garden. If you plant weeds, they'll spread and choke out the flowers. If you nourish the soil, water the roots, and give sunlight, your garden can thrive even after harsh storms. But rewiring your brain doesn't happen by chance. It happens through daily choice small actions repeated over time. Here are the essential habits to build your new mental environment. Mindful awareness. Start by noticing your thoughts without judgment. Catch negative patterns early. Say to yourself, is this thought true? Helpful? This awareness is the first step in breaking free. Positive input. Feed your mind with uplifting books, music, and people. Limit toxic influences that reinforce fear and doubt. Gratitude practice. Every day, list 3 things you're thankful for. This simple habit rewires your brain to focus on abundance, not lack. Movement and breath. Physical activity and deep breathing reduce stress hormones. They calm your nervous system and improve mental clarity. Rest and sleep. Your brain needs rest to repair and reset. Prioritize quality sleep and downtime. Journaling. Write your thoughts, fears, and wins. This process externalizes your inner world and creates space for healing. Change is a marathon, not a sprint. These habits are like bricks each. One builds the foundation for lasting peace and mental freedom. Every day you choose to practice these habits, you're strengthening the neural pathways of hope, resilience, and clarity. And as your mental environment shifts, so will your experience of the world. With your mental environment in your hands, you're ready to take the final step, mastering your mind's dialogue and choosing your inner story. By now, you've built a foundational mental environment that supports healing and growth. But the battlefield inside your mind isn't silent. Your thoughts are constantly talking, narrating a story about who you are, what you're worth, and what your future holds. This inner dialogue shapes your reality more than you realize. So here's the big question. Who's telling your story? Is it the voice of doubt that says, "You'll never be enough"? Or the voice of fear that warns, "Don't try, you'll fail"? Or maybe it's the harsh critic that tears you down whenever you slip. If you keep listening to those voices unchallenged, they become your truth. They become the script you act out over and over again. But what if you could rewrite the script? What if you could become the author of your own story? The truth is, you can. And here's how. Notice the narrative. Catch the negative self-talk the moment it arises. Write it down if you need to. Question the story. Ask, is this story really true? Where's the evidence? Is there another way to see this? Create new affirmations. Replace lies with truths. I am worthy. I am capable. I am enough. Visualize your story. Imagine yourself succeeding, healing, thriving. Feel the emotions of that new story as if it's happening now. Repeat daily. Your brain rewires through repetition. Make your new story your daily habit. Choosing your inner story isn't about ignoring pain or pretending everything is perfect. It's about reclaiming power, choosing what you believe, how you interpret your past, and how you move forward. You are not a victim of your mind's stories. You are the storyteller. Winning the war in your mind isn't about a single victory. It's about a lifelong journey of courage, patience, and self-love. You've learned to identify the enemy, your destructive thoughts. You've discovered the power of community. You've rebuilt your mental environment with healing habits. And now, you're ready to write your own story. Remember this: every time you choose hope over fear, every time you choose connection over isolation, every time you choose truth over lies, you win. This war doesn't end with silence or surrender. It ends with your voice rising loud, clear, and unstoppable. You are stronger than the doubts that tried to break you. You are wiser than the fears that tried to hold you back. You are braver than the battles you fought alone. Your mind is your battlefield, but also your greatest victory. So go ahead, stand tall, speak your truth, and live your story fully. Because the most powerful win is the one you claim inside your own mind.